remarkable photographs today that I've ever shown you. And the reason why we're getting remarkable photographs, why people are getting so smart about this system in their ability to photograph it and document it, is because it's getting closer. Do you really think that these people from all over the world that are sending me these images are using bad photographic equipment? Do you really think that they're all lens flares? Do you really think that we're trying to deceive anybody? What possible benefit could there be in trying to deceive somebody that a planetary system is coming our way? Think about these things for a second with me. We're looking at things that we haven't seen before. And these are the kinds of things that we have never seen before. Orbs up in the coronosphere. These are all new pictures, by the way. Or objects in the coronosphere. This is a clear sunny day. This is using a very fisheye lens in order to see what was up there. We've never seen stuff by the moon like this. We've seen objects by the moon throughout the last 2 years, but never have we seen it this clear where we could clearly distinguish between what we were seeing as the moon and another 2 objects up there. Some people tell me that these are objects that have been predicted by Egyptian mythology. We've never seen these types of things before, you guys. This stuff is shocking to me. Look at the shadow going across the lake from this object in the sky. Look at this orb over here by the ISS captured yesterday. We've seen these things before, slightly, faintly, but they get clearer every single day. Here's that same orb. The same orb we see here was photographed in Australia here. There's another shot of it. What about the 2 suns that we're seeing everywhere and that we're photographing? Yeah, some are lens flares, I'll admit. But how do you explain something like that? Or how do you explain the weird, odd things that are happening in space with our astronauts and with the ISS? Look at this huge... Did he drop something that just floated off into space? I don't know. Or what about what we've learned recently about refraction now and being able to defeat the lensing system? Will you go out and try this experiment? Will you actually take a mirror and project the light onto another surface to see what's actually behind the sun? We've come up with the formula to defeat the lensing system. Let me prove it to you. Here's a random photograph where we actually see, this was before this person took this photograph, didn't even know about this technique. But basically, because the water was there and it broke and slowed the light down, as Star taught us yesterday or earlier, we can actually pick up the objects that are up there. Remember when she took the 45 degree and she just showed it on the black reflective surface here of a Samsung, back of a Samsung phone, where you actually can slow the light down and see what's up there? Are you going to try that experiment? Or are you so skeptical you won't even try or look? Is it cognitive dissonance? Here you go. You can actually see the upper edge of this from another Earth cam. Same thing. Same thing. So why do we even do this? You know? Why do I even put up with this abuse that I have to take every single day? Look at this 2-sun photograph. Look at the red blood moon that we just got from Arizona. Hi, Kaylee. Kaylee sends me these pictures all the time. What about these the orbs that we're seeing? I'm getting ready to show you a photograph that's going to blow your mind. These, a year ago, would have gone viral on the internet. Is it because we're like frogs in the water? Here's the picture I wanted to show you. This is from the ISS, you guys. Yep. There it is. There's one of them anyway, right? So why do we even do this? Well, believe it or not, guys, I'm compelled to tell you the truth about what's going on in this world. And what the whole reason for the signs and wonders in the sky and the heavens that Jesus foretold was that we would be able to have time then to repent and come to our senses when we started seeing this stuff in the sky, understanding that our lives are temporary, that this world is temporary, very temporary. Even anything you're going through right now is temporary. This is a stopping point for the human race. It's not our home for eternity. You should know that. And we've allowed ourselves to get so wrapped up into this fear, greed, worldly, loving the world that we forgot all about our spiritual heritage and the kings and priests that you're meant to be. Kings, queens, and priests of God. Sons and daughters of God. And all God wants from us, the Father wants from us, with these signs and wonders and the cleansing of the earth that's coming, is to bring his sons and daughters home. So let me encourage you with something here. I'm not showing you these things to be afraid. I'm showing these things to you in hopes that you will recognize these are the signs that were promised. And those signs were to lead you to a conclusion and to lead you to your knees of humility. It's not to be argued over what God is doing in the heavens. The sign of September 23rd was exactly that. It was the harbinger of the tribulation. What does that mean? Well, it means that wickedness is going to end, guys. And it might not be very pretty. And what you'll need to understand is that you need to give your hearts totally over to the Father. You need to return to the Creator. You need to love each other. You need to forgive each other. You need to forgive yourself. It's time to move into grace. It's time to move into love and peace. That's what these signs are meant to do, not to cause fear. Remember, it's temporary. Everybody that's listening to me, you will one day breathe your last breath. So the fact that we have a disaster around the corner with this Planet X system isn't the important thing. The question is, are you ready? God bless you, Steve Olson, WSL.
Exposed. Nibiru cover-up, NASA withholding the truth about Planet X. U.S. Space Agency NASA is involved in a major cover-up over the threat posed by a mythical planetary system, it has shockingly been claimed. Conspiracy theorists claim Nibiru or Planet X is a huge planet with a vast orbit that will one day pass so close to Earth that its gravitational pull could wreak havoc on our planet, triggering earthquakes and other catastrophic events. Nibiru, or Planet X, believers claim it is currently heading towards Earth and is likely to pass before the end of the year, but NASA and world governments are desperate to keep it quiet to avoid mass panic. The theory suggests that the global elite is preparing to retreat into a series of underground bunkers to try to escape the catastrophe, while the rest of us perish. At the forefront of the claims is Nibiru conspiracy theorist Matt Rogers, who posts almost daily videos to YouTube suggesting he has evidence that the plant system is drawing nearer. He claims the authorities cover this up using chemicals sprayed into the air to try to block out visible signs of Nibiru. In his latest video on his channel Skywatcher Matt Rogers, he said, NASA is covering this up with the government, the shadow government. They really do not wish for the public around the world to take any notice. They still think the majority are being dumbed down by the truth, but I'm afraid more and more people are starting to look up to the skies and noticing the true situation. Every day they are covering our skies. With the media still silent, it doesn't matter, because we know this is coming. However, Mr. Rogers suggested the masses could fight back. He added, "We have got to be truthful, we have got to be positive, and we have got to be sting for the community. We have got to stand our ground, and don't be misinformed." A crucial part of this evidence is thinking outside the box, and thinking for ourselves. Let's not let them think for us. Fortunately, NASA insists that believers like Mr. Broussard are completely wrong, and the Nibiru myth is an internet hoax. NASA scientist Dr. David Morrison said, "There is no credible evidence whatever for the existence of Nibiru. There are no pictures, no tracking, no astronomical observations. I can quite specifically say how we know Planet X or Nibiru does not exist and does not threaten the Earth. Firstly, if there was a planet headed into the inner solar system that was going to come close to the Earth, it would already be inside the orbit of Mars, it would be bright, it would be easily visible to the naked eye, if it was up there it would be easy to see it, all of us could see it." Space boffin Dr. Brian Cox has also insisted Planet X does not exist. Associate Professor Honty Horner, an astronomer at the University of Southern Queensland in Australia. He said, "I've never heard of anybody who's an actual astronomer talk about Nibiru before. It's basically an urban myth. It's like having a biologist coming out and talking about werewolves and the Sasquatch being real. You just wouldn't hear it." The Nibiru myth was born in 1976, when writer Zecharia Sitchin claimed two ancient Middle Eastern cultures, the Babylonians and Sumerians, told of a giant planet that orbited the Sun every 3,600 years.
And I'm going to show you a couple really interesting pictures. This particular one is interesting. Just look at it. We've been looking at a 3-planet configuration, or hologram, depending on who you are, for quite a while now. And my voice is a little messed up right now because I was working out in the cold all day today. It snowed up here in the great white north. Anyway, the reason I wanted to get on even when my voice isn't working is because I have been looking and seeing all over the Nibiru community, the Planet X community, too much strife, too much division, too much hatred, too much jealousy, too much envy. And these negative emotions that have been fermented in this community that struggles to try to maintain some type of unity and harmony, it's just gone too far. And so tonight, I just wanted to, while you're looking at this extremely convincing picture of an approaching planetary system to our Earth, we all agree that Planet X is real, or at least many of us do. Most of us do in this community. And that is a common insight that is not shared by a lot of people in the world. Some would call us insane or crazy. We can't even share it with our friends or relatives. We can't even share it with people that we're very close to, like husbands and wives, girlfriends and boyfriends, sons and daughters. Yet, we've allowed this spirit of contention and spirit of hatred and spirit of conflict and mistrust and fear to enter our community in a way that is not conducive to us having a positive outcome. So I'm begging you, if you feel strife in this community, know that it's not coming from God. Know that it's not coming from love. And know that it's all designed. It's all crafted. It's subterfuge. It's on purpose. Because, guys, if this is all coming down the way it's coming down, the way I see it coming down, there's going to be a critical period where independence is going to be required. There's not going to be help coming from the federal government or anywhere else, unless that becomes your last resort. And what we want to do in this community, the preparation should mean something. The research should mean something. The work that we've done these last 2 years should mean something. And what I really pray and hope that it means is that when and if it happens and goes down where there's cataclysm, we're going to need each other desperately bad. We're going to need each other. And, it's not going to matter if you're a Unitarian or a Catholic or a Protestant or a Hindu or a Muslim. It's not going to matter. Because we're going to be fighting for our survival. And it requires unity. They want us to go into this with as much discord and as much mistrust as possible and fear. And it has to be fought. You have to push it back. You can't allow bitterness, unforgiveness, wickedness, envy, false witness, threats, fear, intimidation should be no part of this community. I'm going to show you one more picture. I'm going to let you go. Yeah, it's getting weird. And we know that there's all kinds of forces at work. There's all kinds of things that are happening. Some of this is artificial. Some of it could be projected. And again, I go back to whenever we collaborate and we start to strengthen each other with knowledge, where you can show that I was incorrect or slightly off and vice versa, our knowledge gets better and sharper. That's why they want us divided. So I'm begging this whole community to stop and think. If you believe that this is real based on the evidence that we
all have shared together and worked on so hard together, then it is also incumbent for us to lay down division and see each other as the fundamental essence, which is a human being. And that alone deserves respect and love. I love you guys, and I hope you have a good one.